हरे कृष्ण। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Hare Krishna. Yesterday we were discussing one important point. I thought I'll just continue on that little bit. This is a very important small revision. We were discussing how our heart or consciousness is able to act in this world, is able to comprehend, or is able to love. So, first is consciousness, able to comprehend, and able to love. These are the three qualities that distinguish a living entity from a dead person. Three abilities for us, all living entities. Now, dead matter cannot have consciousness, it cannot comprehend, it cannot have. Now, this is the highest ability. So, two things anyway we are doing. We are conscious also, and we have ability to comprehend. We are able to distinguish things. This is this, this is this. A table cannot distinguish. It does not know what is a laptop. It does not know what is a mobile. But we know this is laptop. This is I can distinguish. Table is not conscious that it exists, but I am conscious I exist. Same thing with my. I can express love, feeling, which a dead matter cannot. So these are the three distinguishing factors. The highest ability is the ability to love, because it in the spirit is able to transcend itself, go beyond its own limitations, and this is the most amazing gift that we are given from the Lord, and this is the ability we have to work upon. Then we will be promoted to spiritual world. People in the spiritual world are able to completely mm, give their love, which we are not able to do. That's why we're in material world. The ability to love and sacrifice oneself for some very strange paradoxical reason is not very appreciated by people. They think, who is Krishna? How I love? No. And why should I sacrifice for something which I have not seen also? Now, people, they are very much interested in so many things in this world except for loving Krishna. And we say we are also, they talk out love everywhere. Anything, people are so much interested in talking about love, but their definition of love is not what we are speaking. For them, the love means the relation between physical relation between man and woman, and for them, service is very far. Now, Lord Krishna, he wanted to speak about this in Bhagavad Gita, but he speaks everything else so much and only little bit because people are not interested. Although he want to say it is the most important thing he mentions. Every chapter he tells about bhakti, but people are not so much. Now we are talking about Lord Ram also yesterday. Like people are interested in Dandiya. When Dasara comes, they're going and dancing. They're not interested in Ram. They're not interested in Durga. They don't know also which Durga, which day they keep. They're interested in the enjoyment. The external, so much people are interested. They're interested in all these different songs, what they're singing, different steps where they're dancing, different dresses, what they're wearing, different cosmetics they're applying, and different food they're eating. In that way, what happens that life remains very superficial, and people cannot go, they cannot experience the deep sense of satisfaction and happiness. They live a very superficial life, and this is actually what is happening in most of the people's life. Like uh, people, they feel, oh, this is not very good. Why this is why we have to so much follow dharma and all these things. They are just enjoying. It's quite cool. Life is quite cool. No, they don't understand that beyond this, there is something very deep which we can experience. There is not just superficial happiness. That is the reason, like, what is sacrifice, what is surrender, what is love, and these all things, they create a deep impact in our heart, which transforms the heart. This is what is needed. Why we are not able to experience that love? Because people live, they go for, they buy cheap happiness, and he receives a surrogate of happiness for happiness instead of, and something which seems to be, this is not able to awaken the heart. That love is not awakened because we are just living in a superficial world, and a person follows some higher principles in life. It looks externally unhappy, but inside he can experience the deep sense of happiness. That is the point. Like Ramayana, why people are able to hear? Because it looks like externally Lord Ram, by following Dharma, he only suffered. Everything went wrong for him. He has to stay in the forest for no reason, no any amenities, no facilities. He just have to live in such a environment, and then he has to wear some tree barks and matted hair, and he has to eat fruits and fruits. What is so pleasure about it? He's losing everything by following dharma. People say it's too much. When Ravana comes to kidnap Sita, what Ravana says, Are, I live in Lanka. There are so many super malls and so many cars are there and all modern amenities are there. You just come. What are you doing in the forest here, suffering with this person? He does not have any place to stay also. Sita says, No, I'm fine here. No, why fine? No, Ravana is telling, I have such nice facilities there in the Lanka with all these big palaces and everything made of gold, and if people are very much interested, especially just by hearing the name of super mall only, many people's heart will get touched. They feel so happy just knowing that today I have to go for shopping. People really feel so much happiness in their heart. Just so, and if you say it's shopping for purchasing new clothes and jewelry means, it immediately, of course, for men it may be painful, but it is very pleasing because the one fellow spends the money, another fellow purchases. So the point is what? The point is, this is how people are stuck. But we discussed yesterday this point, just a revision, that why people are able to read Ramayana even now, and why it is causing tears in their eyes and hair standing on end, and they are just open their mouth and just listening to Ramayana, because the way the pleasure that is experienced by Ram and the personalities in Ramayana is so deep that even now it has an impact. The person who reads, he is also touched by this happiness. If it wasn't for this happiness, the whole story, it's like some other, any other normal novel and all. So many novels, so many stories, but it does not touch as much as what Ramayana does. In a superficial glance, it looks a little satisfying, but it does not fulfill the heart. That is the reason. Now, another point here, what we are discussing is this. There are three ways actually. The Vedas, especially in Upanishads and all, they say that all other paths without love and service are complete, and it leads person to a wrong place. Generally, there are three ways which will lead a person. The paths are karma, yoga, karma, jnana, and bhakti. Now, Krishna, he speaks everything, and because here, according to the abilities, there are three abilities in man, according to Vedic culture. The three main abilities is, in order to, based on depending on the person's inclination, on his character, he is given an opportunity to develop spiritually. No matter who is he need to develop spiritually. So three inclinations based on inclinations character. Now each person can choose a path, and which would ultimately elevate the consciousness, right? Now Vedas, there are karma yoga. Karma yoga is a person is interested in activity. He has activity, active nature, and through karma yoga he can raise his consciousness and purify the heart, right? Second is, there is a way of jnana. Now, when a person he could not understand, when a person understands something through renunciation of activity, one is performing activity and is renunciation. This is through meditation, and then there is path of bhakti, which is the path of love. Now, Vedic society, the path existed independently of one another. Independently means that every person can stand on it, feel good, and reach a certain level. But the Vedas themselves say that when a person follows either the path of karma or jnana, at the same time he has no love, then this path will lead him to hell. That means to a standstill, Ishopanishad itself says there is, if a person follows the path of ignorance, he comes to darkness. And a person, the path of ignorance is path of karma. And then he says, if a person follows the path of knowledge, he comes into even greater darkness. So that means what? If we choose between one and another, yoga, ignorance become darkness, you follow path of knowledge. That means it is talking about path of karma and jnana without bhakti. That is the point. Only if a person identifies in the path of and tries to follow it without love. We all need why we need to know these things, because we need to know very clearly what is path of bhakti. To distinguish ourselves from path of karma and jnana, we need to very clearly understand what is the path of bhakti dealing with. It is dealing with love. And how this love, without service, then this path does not lead him anywhere. The path get confused. The person get confused. Like if people like to do meditation, yoga and all these things, little bit karma, and then there is meditation. But these methods for spiritual technology of different strengths, and these methods are independent and can elevate a person to some extent. There is no doubt. Person will get some elevation, but these methods, the effectiveness depends is how much they are in connection with bhakti. Like path of jnana and path of renunciation, meditation, the comprehension of inner essence of the soul, the path of selfless activity are not independent in themselves. Only one path is self-sufficient, that is bhakti. Now Krishna, when he explains to Arjuna, he is telling everything. You can do this also, you can do this also, everything is fine. But Krishna, he talks about all these things because it interests the people. But inside, he want to talk only one thing. He want to say that in fact, all this does not work. That all things belong to the only work is when person's heart, when person puts his heart into it. When we understand that the most important achievement a person is to find love, and the most valuable and the highest, greatest goal is to make the heart pure. We discussed yesterday. Like if somebody has, our liver is clean, kidney is clean, it is better. But if heart is dirty, what will happen? Again, these things will become dirty. Why? Because heart is consciousness. Consciousness is the center of our being, and we need to clean it. And if heart is not clean, and heart can be cleaned with only love, selflessness, humility, and service. Now, because my heart is not clean, again I'll do wrong activities. And again, these things will again get contaminated. I eat wrong things, I do wrong things, and again I'll contaminate remaining parts of the body. That's what is happening for people. When they born, they get everything good. Because their heart is impure, they will do all wrong things and contaminate themselves. They'll spoil their by smoking, drinking, they spoil their all their good parts. Therefore, Krishna says when a person gains this love, and how much chitta, chitta means heart. Now it is consciousness. Now this is that is all this starts to work truly when a person puts his heart into it. Now, when we understand that the most important achievement of a person is to find love, and the most valuable, the highest, the biggest goal is to make the heart clean, right? So the formula is very simple. Say when a person gains it, when a person loves and he settles in his, when the love settles in the heart, then such a person begins to constantly talk about Krishna, Machitta, Mattata, Prana, Bodhayanta Parasparam, because his heart is given to me. That's why he'll talk to about me only because he's interested in me. He will always talk about me. Like on the path of karma yoga, the path of karma yoga is path accessible to everyone. When a person does some activity selflessly, everybody can do. He does something on the path of karma, and what it should happen, he must finally offer the fruits of labor to Krishna. Et karo shadasna siddhish. Internally, he's performing this sacrifice, and Krishna says, when a person's heart has already been given to me, then everything that person does automatically belongs to him. That is the point. So in bhakti, what we do, we give our heart to Krishna. He does not need to become bear fruit separately because the heart has already been given to Krishna. Now, Srila Prabhupada explains that there are two stages. First is when we still do not love, but we want to find it. And second is when we already have given love and we act it. So both on one another are not different from each other because people do the same activity. I am also speaking Bhagavatam, a person with love also speaks Bhagavatam, activity launch. Now, the most amazing thing about Bhakti Yoga or love is that one can experience satisfaction from the very beginning. Like people, when they go away, they need to get to very end in order to receive the real fruit for any other activity. But when it comes to Bhakti Yoga, Krishna says Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. From the very beginning only, we can experience, we can feel and become lighter in heart. The heart will be full with satisfaction. Now our heart is sucking vacuum. There is in our heart presently there is so much vacuum, emptiness, and there is always a feeling of something is missing. Like yesterday, one devotee was sharing that there are so much expectations from the no, there will be in-laws, children, and other things. They say they have everything, but still they are expecting. Why there is expectation? Not that they lack something in terms of money, facilities, but still they expect. Why? Because there is vacuum. They want to suck. They think maybe I need something. Nothing is sufficient for me. Maybe I need more salary, maybe more wife, or wife is not enough. So many I want divorce or whatever. So why they want something? The proof that their heart is empty. That is that's why they want more. If heart is completely full, then like we say, Prabhupada also said, more, more, more. That is not for him because his love for Krishna. And a person only takes this path and begins to hear about Krishna, satisfaction immediately appears in the heart. And when he simply hears the name of Krishna, repeats the name, he feels this is just a revision of what we discussed yesterday. We'll add some more things to our. These are the very important shlokas of Bhagavatam. धौतात्मा पुरुष कृष्ण पादमूलम च मुंचति मुक्त सर्व परिक्लेश पांतस्व शरणम यत. This is what we are discussing today also. A pure devotee of Lord, whose heart has once been cleansed by the process of devotional service, never relinquishes the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, for they fully satisfy him. That means heart is satisfied. That's what happens. As a traveler is satisfied at home after troubled journey. Like Yudhishthir Maharaj was asked by Yaksha, last four questions. What is the path? What is the goal? What is the news? And yes, one more question. One is what is the news? Then he says, Ahani Ahani Bhutani Gachanti Malam Sheshtavan Ichunte Kimascharamatapparam. Everybody is going to Yamaloka and whoever is staying there thinking, oh, I'll not go. This is the news. And then yes, what is the path? Then he says that Tarka Pratishto Sutayo Vibhinna Nasa Materiyasya Matimna Vinnam Dharmasya Tattvam Nihitam Guhaya Mahajano Yanagatasya Panta. The path is you have to follow in the footsteps of Rama. And then he asks another question, what is the news? What is the Kim Ascharyam? For Ascharyam, he says that Ahani Ahani Bhutani. Everybody is going to Yamalaya. Sheshtavam Ichante Kim Ascharyamatam. What is that is the greatest wonder. They think I live permanently. And he asks, what is the news? He says that this metal world is like a frying pan, and Emeraj is frying everybody. He's a cook and is making sure that everybody is properly fried in all directions. That is the news, he says. And then he says, what is the goal? So the path, he asks the fourth question, and what is the goal? He asks third. But he answers ulta. First, he tells what is the path, then it's a goal. He says that after traveling so much in hot sun, if a person comes home and his wife gives him nice meals and he sits and eat the nice prasadam, and that is the what is the satisfaction? Yeah, real satisfaction. He has what is so that means he says this only that you are pantasto sharanam yata. You go home to the spiritual world and you be with Krishna. That is what is the ultimate goal and satisfaction. Questions I'll tell you remember. First question, what is the news? Second question, what is the greatest wonder? Third question, what is the path? Fourth question, actually, third question is what is the greatest satisfaction or what is the goal? And fourth question is what is the path? One is Emeraj is frying everyone. It is the news. Second is Ashcharyam is everybody is dying. But we feel we stay here. Third question and answer if you take like that. What is the path? Mahajano and fourth one is after traveling so much in hot sun, you come home and you have nice meals and have rest. Coming home is to come back to spiritual world. Like that. And then the next shloka talks, these are very nice shlokas. And then it says, O Lord Brahmana, the transcendental spirit soul is different from the material body. Does he acquires the body accidentally or by some cause? Will you kindly explain this for it is known to you? Now, this is a very important question. And we'll see some more questions also. This is all questions Parikshit Maharaj is asking Sukadev Goswami. If the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom abdomen the lotus stem sprouts, is possessed of gigantic body according to his own caliber and measurement, then what is the specific difference between the body of the Lord and those of common living entities? Lord is also having, I also have. What is the difference? Papa's writing, one should note how Parikshit Maharaj intelligently put questions before his spiritual master for scientific understanding of the transcendental body of the Lord. It has been described in many places before that the Lord assumed a gigantic body, namely that of Kshirodakshai Vishnu, from whose hair pores innumerable universes were generated. The body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu is described as sprouting the lotus stem within which all the planets of the universe remain. And at the top of the stem is a lotus flower on which Lord Brahma is born. In the creation of material world, the Supreme Lord undoubtedly assumes a gigantic body, and the living entities also gets bodies big or small according to necessity. For example, an elephant gets a gigantic body according to its need, and so also an ant gets its body according to its need. Similarly, if the personality of God had assumed a gigantic body to accommodate the universe or the planets of particular universe, there is no difference in the principle of assume or accepting a particular type of body in terms of necessary. A living being and Lord cannot be distinguished simply by difference in magnitude of body. So the answer depends on the specific significance of the body as distinguished from the body of a God. So this is a very important point. He says like, okay, you need some body because of your swabhava, you get a body. And Lord also needs some body, he is also getting his body. So what is the difference? He is also having a body, I also. But no, it is not like that. Our body is because of karma. Lord body is transcendental. So that is the difference. Ajah srijati bhutani bhutatma yadanugrahat tadrishayena tadrupam nabi padma samudbhavaha. Now from here it's another nice thing. Brahma was not born of a material source, but of the lotus flower coming out of the navel in the abdomen of the Lord. He is the creator of all those who are materially born. Of course, by the grace of Lord, Brahma was able to see the form of the Lord. This is the first living creature. Brahma is called Aja because he did not take his birth from the womb of a mother, materially born. He was directly born from the belly expansion of bodily expansion of the lotus flower of the Lord. This is not readily understandable whether the body of Lord and that of Brahma are on the same quality or different. So something is coming from me, it should be same quality of me. If Brahma's Lord is from Lord's level, lotus flower is coming and Brahma is coming. So the lotus flower will have the quality of the Lord. Brahma should also have the same quality. That is the question. This must be clearly understood. One thing is, however, certain Brahma was completely dependent on the mercy of Lord because after his birth he could create living beings by the Lord's grace only, and he could see the form of Lord. Whether the form seen by Brahma is of the same quality of that Brahma is a bewildering question. So, if Brahma has a material body, and how can Lord have spiritual? If Lord is spiritual body, from Lord's body something is coming should be spiritual. How can it be material? That is the question. And Maharaj Parikshit wanted to get clear answer from Sukadeva Goswami. Like Lord's spiritual body, Brahma's is material body. So something material coming from spiritual. How it is possible? Sachapi yatra purusho vishvastit udbhavapyaya muktvatmamaya mayesha shete sarva guhashayah. It says, please also explain the personality of Godhead who lies in your heart as super soul and who is the Lord of all energies but is untouched by his external energy. Undoubtedly, the form of Lord who was seen by Brahma must be transcendental. Otherwise, how could she simply look upon the creative energy without being touched? It is understood also that the same Purushas lie in the heart of every living entity. This also requires proper explanation. So this is another thing. Please explain. Lord is there in everybody's heart. How can he be touched by external energy? Lord is there in my heart. No? So it is spiritual. My body is material. How can he touch? पुरुषाववैर्लोक सपाला पूर्वकल्पिता लोकैरमुष्यावया वयवा sapalairiti sushruma. He says that, O Lord Brahmana, it was formerly explained that all planets of the universe, with their respective governance, are situated in different parts of the gigantic body of Virat Purusha. I have also heard that the different planetary systems themselves consist the gigantic body of Virat Purusha. But what is their actual position? Will you please explain that? Now, this is very interesting. That Parikshit Maharaj on only 7 days, and he asking such questions. That means these are very important for us to know even at the time of death also. This knowledge will protect us because it protected Parikshit Maharaj. We know about Virata Purusha, different planetary systems. They are all which we discussed in first and second chapter. The same thing. He wanted to know in detail. Yavan kalpo vikalpo va yatal kalo अनुमीयते भूतभव्यभवच्छ्रद्धा आयुर्मानं च यत् सतः. This is also please explain the duration of time between creation and annihilation, the duration of other subsidiary creations as well as the nature of time indicated by the word past, present and future. Also please explain the duration of the measurement of life of the different living beings known as demigods, the human beings, etc., and different planets of the universe. Prabhupada writes past, present, and future are different features of time to indicate the duration of life for the universe and all its paraphernalia, including different living beings in different planets. कालासयानुगतेर्यातु लक्ष्यते अन्वभृत्यपि यावत्यकर्म गतयो यादृशी दिव्यसत्तमा. O purest of Brahmanas, please also explain the cause of different duration of time, both short and long, as well as the beginning of time following the course of action. Very nice question. We'll see what will be the answers also. यस्मिन् कर्म समाव्याव्यो समायाव्यो यता येनो प्रकृत्यते गुणानां गुणिनां चैव परिणाम अभिस्पष् abhipshatam. It says, then again kindly describe how the proportionate accumulation of reactions resulting from the different modes of mental nature act upon the desiring living beings, promoted or degrading him among different species of life, beginning from demigods down to the most insignificant creatures. We'll just read this one part. But the action and reactions of all work in the material modes of nature, either in minute form or in gigantic form, are accumulated, and thus the results of such accumulated actions and reactions of karma or work become manifested in different proportions. How such actions and reactions takes place, what the different processes are, and in what proportion they act are all subject matter of Maharaj Parikshit's inquiry from the great Brahmana Sudeva Goswami. Life in the higher planet, known as the abode of denizens of heaven, is obtained not by the strength of spacecraft, as is now being contemplated by inexperienced scientists, but by works done in the mode of goodness. So this is nice point. Life in the highest is not obtained by the strength of spacecraft, but by mode of goodness. Even on the very planet where we are now living, there are restrictions upon the entrance of foreigners into a country where the citizens are more prosperous. For example, the American government has many restrictions for the entrance of foreigners from less prosperous countries. The reason is that Americans do not wish to share their prosperity with any foreigners who have not qualified themselves as citizens of America. Similar, the same mentality is prevailing in every other planet where there are more intelligent living beings residing. Higher planetary living conditions are all in the mode of goodness, and anyone desiring to enter the higher planets like the moons and Venus must qualify thoroughly by activity in complete goodness. That is the point. Maharaj Parikshit inquiries are on the basis of proposition proportionate action of goodness which qualify one in this planet to be promoted to the higher regions of the universe. Even on this planet of our present residence, one cannot achieve a good position within the social order without being qualified with proportionate good work. One cannot forcibly sit on the chair of a high court judge without being qualified for the post. Similarly, one cannot enter into the higher planetary systems without being qualified by good work in this life. Persons addicted to the habit of passion ignorance have no chance of entering the higher planetary system simply by an electronic mechanism. Such nice purport Prabhupada's writing. According to the statement of Bhagavad Gita, persons trying to qualify themselves for promotion to the higher heavenly planets can go there. Similarly, persons trying for the Pitralokas can go there. Similarly, persons trying to improve the conditions on earth can also do that. And persons who are engaged in going back home, back to God, can achieve the result. The various actions and reactions of modes of goodness are generally known as pious works with devotional service, culture of knowledge with devotional service, mystic power with devotional service, and class devotional service, unmixed with any other variety of goodness. Wow. Prabhupada is so nice. This unmixed devotional service is transcendental and is called Parabhakti. It alone can promote a person to the transcendental kingdom of God. Such a transcendental kingdom is not a myth, but is as factual as the moon. One must have transcendental qualities to understand the kingdom of God and God Himself. We'll take one more small one only. Rupa Yom Yom भूपातालककुबि व्योमा ग्रह नक्षत्र भूभ्रताम् तत्रिता समुद्रद्वीपानां सम्भवश्चैत ओक्षसा. O best of the Brahmanas, please also describe how the creation of the globes throughout the universe, the four directions of the heaven, the sky, the planets, the stars, the mountains, the rivers, the seas, and islands, as well as their different kinds of inhabitants takes place. Purpose writing, the inhabitants of different varieties of lands, etc., are differently situated. Not all of them are equal in all respects. The inhabitants are different from the inhabitants of water and the sky, and similarly, the inhabitants of the different planets and stars in the sky are also different from another. By the law of Lord, one place is vacant. By the creation of one particular place are different from those of other places. Even in human society, the inhabitants of jungle or the deserts are different from those of cities and villages. They are so made according to different qualities of mode of goodness. Such adjustment by the laws of nature is not blind. There is a great plan behind the arrangement. Maharaj Parikshit requests the great says Sukadeva Goswami to explain all these subjects authoritatively in accordance with proper understanding. Okay, thank you all very much. We'll meet tomorrow. Continue from Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.